All right, it's time for the Bitcoin Cash Weekly News Roundup. Today is June 15th. We're here in Seoul, Korea with Jin and David. Two more Bitcoin Cash fans here in Korea that spent the whole day with me promoting Bitcoin Cash in Korea. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves real quick? So Jin?
All right. Hi guys, I'm Jin. I work with Roger at Bitcoin.com, and my role is business development in South Korea.
And why do you like Bitcoin Cash?
Because it's a digital currency that's actually usable.
Good answer. How about you?
Hey guys, I'm
David.
David. Nice to meet you. I recently helped Roger become an advisor to a project called Mofus, which is the first ever Korean ICO to have him as an advisor. And it's great working with him for Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin.com.
And why do you like Bitcoin Cash?
Well, because it's the best way to transfer money between people, between countries. And I think that more and more people will be Bitcoin friendly, and more companies will become more Bitcoin friendly. So thank you, man.
Yeah.
The whole process.
My pleasure. So we have a list of things to talk about because there's just so much happening in Bitcoin Cash every single week. One of the first ones is an app called Keyport platform. Have you guys read about that? It lets you send encrypted messages embedded in the blockchain from one address to another.
That's great.
Which I think is really interesting. I don't know if all those messages need to be encoded right there into the blockchain, but
Right.
it's pretty neat. Maybe they can just encode the messages and send them to each other with the public keys of the different addresses without embedding it into the op return of the addresses. But it's still a pretty neat idea, and they seem to have a
Definitely is.
development team going. So, and actually, the thing I wanted to talk about first is actually second on my list here. But so Bitcoin.org is probably the website where a lot of people learn about Bitcoin for the first time ever. This week they had a full revamp of that website.
Okay.
They removed every single mention of Coinbase. They removed every single mention of blockchain.info, and they removed every single mention of BitPay. Those are probably the three businesses that have done more to bring more people in the entire world to using digital currencies.
What would be left on the website if they remove all those?
That's a good question. And of course, not a single mention of Bitcoin.com ever either, which I'm glad to say gets significantly more traffic at this point. But it just shows how out of touch with reality the people that are running Bitcoin.org are, and the people supporting Bitcoin Core. Like, they're shunning the three companies that have done more to bring Bitcoin adoption to anybody. Coinbase, my God, they brought more people to digital currencies than probably any other business in the entire world.
It sounds like it's more political than Bitcoin friendly or anything like that. So it's kind of sad, I think.
Yeah. And I think you guys were both there last night. We had a big Bitcoin Cash meetup here in Seoul. And there was one Bitcoin Core supporter that showed up that when I was talking with him, he said that the last time he had made any sort of digital currency or Bitcoin transaction was in March of this year, so about 3 months ago.
And he works for Blockstream.
And he works for Blockstream, so I guess that means he's not getting paid in Bitcoin either. So, and we have that on video too. We'll be putting that on the channel. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Subscribe so you can see that video when it comes out. I'm sure you guys will get a kick out of it. But it just seems crazy to me that Bitcoin.org is shunning all of the businesses that have actually made Bitcoin usable for the world.
Yeah, if you support something, you should use it, I think. So.
Yeah. So there's a PSA on the list here basically saying if a website says that they accept Bitcoin, Bitcoin BTC, they probably accept Bitcoin Cash as well, since BitPay, one of those companies that's being shunned from Bitcoin.org, handles all of that, and any website that's accepting cryptocurrency through BitPay, they accept both Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Cash. So keep an eye out for that. Does BitPay service Korean companies or?
I don't
Probably
think so.
not. No. What's the big merchant processor here in Korea for websites?
I mean, you talked about serving.
Yeah.
Bithumb is actually trying to make Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency usable in South Korea.
So
perhaps we'll be able to buy patbingsu with Bitcoin.
For those that don't know, patbingsu is like Korean-style ice cream. Like, imagine shave ice, but instead of the ice being shaved, it's ice cream shaved into little flakes. And
it's your second favorite Korean food?
It's definitely one of my favorite Korean foods. It's delicious. So we had some last night. And big shout out to BitThumb that announced previously they're working on a deal. I guess it's already in the works and happening where you'll be able to buy Bapingsu, the Korean ice cream, and all sorts of other things in Korea at physical shops. But what about for online shopping in Korea? What's the big payment processor? Do you guys know?
So far, not too many major or minor online processors do that because maybe it's because the Korean government's kind of strong about the whole crypto thing, but we are working pretty hard to make it happen over time. So I think more and more companies will start accepting Bitcoin Cash and other cryptos too.
Another thing on the list here, so Rick Falkvinge. Anybody who's not familiar with Rick Falkvinge, watch his videos on YouTube. They are fantastic. He's definitely a premier thought leader, not just in the cryptocurrency space, but in the world in general. He is such an interesting guy with so many deep, insightful thoughts into so many different topics. He has a YouTube channel called We Are All Satoshi. So if you just Google that on YouTube or search for that on YouTube, you'll find his videos. Sponsored by Private Internet Access, a fantastic VPN service, which was probably the first one in the world to start accepting Bitcoin as payment. And I've been paying my bill with them in Bitcoin Cash for a while now. It's a great service as well, and his videos are great. Have you guys seen his videos as well?
I actually watched his videos when I was first getting into crypto.
Yeah.
All the history about Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think I saw it a couple times.
Yeah, they're fantastic. So for anybody that hasn't watched his videos, Rick Falkvinge, he's actually the founder of the Swedish Pirate Party as well. So really interesting guy with lots of interesting insights. So you just spoke about Korea being a little bit strict as to what people can do with cryptocurrencies. Tell us a little bit more about that if you don't mind.
I think it's because it's more people most people actually do investing in crypto, but they don't use it. But they will. But part of the reason why they don't use it is because they can't. Like most shops, you go to the streets of Seoul, they don't accept it. It's because the government is pressing the companies not to accept Bitcoin Cash or to make any other Bitcoin related transactions.
What is the form of that pressure?
I don't know. It's just the president doesn't like it, so it's not legal, but it's more like political pressure, so that companies just stay away from crypto.
In my opinion, is that the government is afraid because the kimchi premium.
Yeah, of course. That's a big problem in Korea. Yeah.
It was up to 50% last December. So I think the government was right to be afraid of it at the moment, and that as time goes on and the markets get evened out, and things get more stable and not so volatile, that the government stance will change gradually as well.
So maybe this is another example of governments interfering in the economy and retarding the rate of economic growth of the whole world. So
stopping people from becoming decentralized.
Yeah. Anyhow, that brings us to a little bit of good news, though. The government of Thailand basically just announced that Bitcoin Cash is going to be legal in Thailand. So that's good news.
Okay.
Although I'd like to quote Ayn Rand in this instance, who said something along the lines of, don't ask who's going to give you permission, ask who's going to stop you. And I think that's what this whole worldwide deal with cryptocurrencies is stop asking permission, just go out there and start building things and making useful tools for the world. So we saw a credit card processor in the U.S. Shut down all payments for an online gun, or I don't even know if it's online, physical gun shops.
Physical gun shop.
Yeah, and so that's just another example of how payments are getting censored, and it would be good to have. Wouldn't it be nice if the world had an uncensorable, unstoppable payment network that the whole world could use its money? Wouldn't that be great?
Let the market do its job.
Yeah, let the market do its job. And there's another really interesting article by Jonald Football. If anybody hasn't seen his articles before, go and Google him. Fookball is his last name. Jonald, Jonald. He has a bunch of great articles. He just wrote one about permissionless betting on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain, something that's trustless and permissionless betting. And he was mentioning it in regards to a website called Satoshi Dice, which currently you can gamble on with Bitcoin Cash. And it's provably fair, but it's not trustless. They proved that the bet was fair after the bet took place. Okay. So technically they could run away with the money before they've proven that the bet was fair. But with this scheme that he came up with, or that some other people wrote about, you can bet. The bet is not only provably fair, but it's trustless. It's impossible for them to run away with the money as well. So it's really interesting stuff. So, and if you want to see just how fast and easy Bitcoin Cash is to use, don't gamble all your money, but try out Satoshi Dice, $1 or something like that worth of Bitcoin Cash. It's really amazing when you see the money go out of your wallet and then bounce right back when you win. it's incredible.
And almost no transaction fees.
And almost no transaction fees at all. Yeah.
Not for Bitcoin Core though.
Well, to be fair, the Bitcoin Core fees have really come down a lot recently because fewer people are using it than ever before. They've been starting to use things like Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum and all sorts of other altcoins because the Bitcoin Cash people want people to use it, and the Bitcoin Core people are like busy hiding from the world the fact that companies like Coinbase and BitPay and Blockchain.info even exist.
Yeah.
Like those are three of the biggest companies in the world. So like it just really makes you wonder what's going on through their heads when they try and censor that sort of thing. So yeah, what else do we have here? We have a recent paper by the IMF, right, the International Monetary Fund, talking about how digital currencies might replace government-issued fiat currencies.
Interesting. The thing comes from the IMF.
Yeah.
Which is very, very centralized.
Yeah.
Place.
And it's the thing that I've been saying since like 2011.
Mhm.
And a lot of people in mainstream just thought I was some sort of nutcase for saying that. Now here we have the IMF saying exactly what I've been predicting is going to happen. Because in the long run, good money drives out bad. And it's only when you have all sorts of stupid government laws forcing people to use a particular type of money that prevents them from using something even better. But in the long run, we're going to see the best cryptocurrencies drive out the old legacy fiat currencies. And it's starting to happen.
I think it's also worth mentioning that we met a taxi driver today
Yeah.
who was saying that it would be possible for a cryptocurrency to replace dollar.
Yeah, so we got in a taxi earlier this afternoon. I think he said it was 67
Yeah,
or
he was
68,
like
like late
yeah.
60s. And he already knew all of it. He knew about Bitcoin Cash already. He knew about the blockchain stuff. Like, we had a really interesting conversation with him.
I mean, he knew all the problems of fiat and why cryptocurrency would be the best choice for replacing it.
Definitely.
I mean, it was like almost mind-blowing that a taxi driver in his late 60s knew like as much as the people who came to the conference.
Yeah, and exactly. And he was just a guy, like, we flagged down a taxi on the street, got in, and he already knew all about it. It was amazing. So
Yeah, and we pay in cash today, but someday we hope that all the taxis in Korea will start accepting Bitcoin Cash, so that you don't have to go to the foreign exchange and to get cash, and
And now, after listening to the conversation in the car, like we had a cameraman filming in the car. I think the cameraman was a little bit too fast to pull out the fiat and pay.
Yeah.
I suspect that if we had asked him before he had already paid in fiat,
Yeah.
I suspect that guy probably would have accepted Bitcoin Cash for the whole
Yeah.
fare. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think
Definitely,
so,
definitely.
Yeah, so the cameraman really jumped the gun there with pulling out the credit card to pay. But anyhow, we'll try it again the next time.
Right. Using the Bitcoin.com wallet.
Using we spread a lot of Bitcoin.com wallets to people in Korea here.
I'd say at least 200.
At least for sure. And so we spent a good portion of the day at Huobi today, Huobi, Korea. Like a lot of people outside of Korea, I think, and myself included until earlier today, I just assumed Huobi was like a Chinese exchange, and I wasn't really sure what was going on because the Chinese market has been dampened a bit by some government regulations over there. But it turns out they have a great big giant office here in Korea, serving the Korean market with a bunch of Koreans working there, and they are doing like live streaming on YouTube with Korean news, and like Huobi is really going to town here in Korea. I was surprised in a great way. Like I was really impressed. And
You know what was funny though? You met, out of all the people in the world, Wang Chun, the big Bitcoin core guy, today at Huobi, Korea. So that was kind of interesting,
I don't think he's even a big Bitcoin core guy. I think he's just like whatever's fun at the moment
Yeah.
type of thing.
Uh-huh.
So and for those that don't know, he's the founder of F2 Pool, which is a big mining pool that supports at least a half dozen different cryptocurrencies.
Mhm.
So
Can you talk about the exchange? It's unofficial, but they're trying to get the BCH pair
BCH
placed
pair,
there.
yeah, so we met with another exchange earlier today as well, one called coinnest, that's adding Bitcoin Cash base pairs. So you'll be able to trade Bitcoin Cash if it against the Korean won, against Bitcoin Core, Ethereum, Dash, Monero.
First in
Take your
Korea.
pick. Yeah, and they were the first ones in Korea, and I think they said the first in the world to get Bitcoin Cash listed. Is that what they said today?
No, they told us that they were the first exchange in Korea to first list Bitcoin Cash,
Okay.
and they're now the first one to list
base pairs.
base pair.
And then I think Huobi is going to be doing that as well, and quite a few more. So there's a lot of
Mhm.
people are realizing that Bitcoin Cash is useful as cash, so they're busy building on top of it.
Definitely.
And speaking of that, so the Bitcoin.com mining pool, we have a mining pool at pool.bitcoin.com, and we've just started donating 0.5% of every block that we mine to the Bitcoin Cash ABC developers there as well. So you can see that, and we hope that other mining pools will follow our lead in helping funding development of the ecosystem. So it's really great to see Bitcoin Cash development being funded by people that actually use Bitcoin Cash as payment, unlike that Bitcoin Core supporter that hasn't made a single Bitcoin transaction for 3 months despite working for Blockstream. So,
Yet he comes to our meetups.
yeah, why was he at the Bitcoin Cash meetup? I don't know. But anyhow, subscribe to this channel and you'll see the full video. I had a chat with him and it got a little bit heated, and but it's all there on it'll be on YouTube shortly. So like, subscribe, follow this video, share it with your friends. That's the only way we have of getting this word out. Another friendly reminder: our Bitcoin is completely censored, so you won't even be able to link to this video on our Bitcoin, or it'll be deleted. And if you don't believe me, try post a link to this video on our Bitcoin, and then open it in an incognito browser window, and you'll see that the post has been deleted. So they won't even let people talk about what's going on in the world of Bitcoin.
Anything other than Bitcoin Core.
Yeah, and only positive things about Bitcoin Core are allowed. Anything, but although if you say something negative about Bitcoin Cash, perhaps they'll let it stay. You have a 50-50 chance.
They might stick it.
Yeah, they still might delete it, or they might stick you at the top, depending on what the news is.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyhow, please subscribe to our channel, share the video, and if you don't have any Bitcoin Cash already, go to free.bitcoin.com. We're giving away about 10 cents worth of Bitcoin Cash for free to anybody that goes there. It's worth trying, and make sure you get the Bitcoin.com wallet. And visit Bitcoin.com, you can play games, you can read the latest news, you can do all sorts of fun stuff there, and tell a friend. Anything else to add, guys, from Seoul, Korea on Friday night?
Go Bitcoin Cash.
Go Bitcoin Cash, or as they say in Korea, Bitcoin Cash. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Yeah.